Tale of Champions. A diminutive guardian who traveled backward through time. And the great calamity they faced.
Listen well, soldiers of Hyrule. In our long history, we have scarcely faced a threat of this magnitude. The years have passed quickly since Calamity Ganon's revival was prophesied. Yes, we have unearthed the divine beasts and filled volumes with our knowledge of ancient relics. But a barricade of books will not protect us. Because this way surges a horde like we have never faced before. Even now, the enemy is clawing for our throat. For Hyrule Castle itself. We must exterminate the monsters roaming Hyrule Field. Thus, we'll begin our renewed effort to stop the Calamity. Here, now, go forth! And be brave for your kingdom!
Hello everyone, Praise Scooter here, and welcome to a Let's Play of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Because for some reason, I can never put down the Breath of the Wild style games. So, as I go through this opening battle here and talk about stuff, do know that I'm going to be rambling a bit, but also trying to give you the scope of the plan for the series. For one, which might explain something why I'm doing this right now, I'm going to be trying to go for 100%. And just to help me, at least in the beginning parts of it, I will be using some guides and whatnot to help me, because remembering everything, a little rough. So this means we will be getting all of the hidden treasure chests within the game. We will also be getting all of the hidden other collectibles, which we'll see in a second. And we'll be exploring all characters and their abilities. But anyway, this is a Dynasty Warriors style game, so do know that starting off... Oh, lock into powerful flows, got it. Do know that, at least starting out here, things are going to be moving a little slower than I'm used to, so I'm going to be doing dumb things and getting my butt handed to me. But also know that because of my, because of how I play these games, I'm going to be making dumb mistakes a lot. But I will say that I'm playing the game on hard difficulty to start off with. But as time goes along, I may bump it up to very hard, and may show off the apocalyptic difficulty, but I will not play the whole game like that. Ow. Now keep in mind, I'm used to my characters moving a lot faster than they are right now, but as time goes along, I'll get more familiar with this. Also, I'll be doing little blurbs and inserts here, which, before I get to explaining how the game works a little more in depth, Scooter and editing, why don't you take it away from it while we explore our first character of Link. Link is a middle-of-the-road character. He excels at nothing, he also fails at nothing. He's the safest character to play as in the game. As you go along your journey though, he'll be able to take advantage of some skills that will allow him not only to break an enemy's guard, almost instantaneously, but also lock them in place so they cannot respond to attacks, and you can break down their weak point gauge quickly. Link also has access to arrows as his unique ability. This allows him to sharpshoot enemies, and should you be facing a larger enemy, hit their weak points to stun them and very briefly expose the weak point gauge. Along with some skills we'll get later on, will allow Link to open up, freeze an enemy in place, and demolish weak point gauges at lightning speeds. And I hope I talked at length about how that works. Anyway, so anybody who has never played a Dynasty Warrior game, don't worry, I'll hopefully teach you well what we're dealing with here. But yeah, the whole idea of this is basically to attack enemies multiple times in order to build up special meters. By the way, this is our other collectible we're after, the Korok Seeds. Thankfully, in this game there is not 900 of them. It's close to like 140, but there's still, yeah, I don't know that that's the exact number, but there is a healthy amount of Korok Seeds. But to 100% the game, we do need to collect them all.
Right.
Anyway, now that I'm done yammering about and whatnot, let's go over a few basic commands considering we're not on a time limit. So, if you hold the left bumper, you'll bring up a menu of helpful sub-items that will help you. We'll get 3 more on here to help over time. The right bumper does nothing right now. The right trigger is an ability tied to every character. I've already talked about Link's in the little thing, but Link unleashes the flurry of arrows. This also can be done from midair, as if you were playing Breath of the Wild proper, and it does slow down time. Link is the only one that has this very unique type of attack, and even though I've talked about it in that little blurb, I'll go over in a little more detail once we get to that point. But for a Warriors style game, or I guess Dynasty Warriors to be more accurate to say, what we're looking at here, hold on, I guess it's inside of here. No, it's right here outside. But, sorry, I'm trying to, juggling many things at once is not my strong suit. But with Link here, I'm kind of showing the basis of his attacking in that if you're doing an attack, if you do any attack and follow up with, oh gosh. If you're doing any attack and you follow it up with or if you do any attack with him, or do any, I guess this pertains to any character. So, hitting Y, your fast or weak attack button, will allow you to do a basic chain combo. At certain points in your combos, if you hit the X button, you'll execute a different finisher move, and it depends on how many times you hit the attack button. With Link, it works a little different, where if you hold that last attack for a longer period of time, if you hold the last attack in your combo a little bit longer, you can charge up something. You can charge up an additional combo finisher as well. But basically, what we have access to for the most part is YX or YYX, which is this move. Oh, huh. I never messed around with it that much. Sorry, I'm handling some things.
happening? It's a tower?
Well, it is indeed a tower, but I need to take a little side tour to get something handled. I forgot the conversation I was on, but I have to make sure we go get all the collectibles in that area. Now, thankfully for this battle, at least this battle right now, we are not at any kind of time limit, so we can kind of take our time with this. So, but yes, we have now come across Impa, which with Impa also came with the Sheikah Slate, and anybody who's played Breath of the Wild knows the Sheikah Slate is kind of a broken thing. I like how I got the tool now. By the way, bombs. Oh, I got a level up. Okay, I like how we get this tutorial now when I'm well past the point. Anyway, let's see. I should say, like, getting collectibles, I won't be going for, like, a certain order. Like, hey, here's what the guy says to do for a certain order. I'm just going to go for an order that I'm aware of. Let's see. I believe... Nope, not here. But I'm going to try my best to go for the collectibles first and foremost. And then I'll go for the map completion afterwards, if time permitting. Because there are other conditions we will have to fulfill in order to get everything. Let's see. Now... Oh, here we go. Now, as you're seeing as I'm getting Korok Seeds, they can come in various flavors and various styles and various headaches. Some of them, as with the first one collected, may be something as simple as hitting a crate, or finding a pedestal, or a flower. If you play Breath of the Wild, you know what you're getting yourself into. And I think... Yeah, I think with that we actually have covered most of what 100% involves. But, oh yeah, I was going over the basic attacks. Now, certain characters, when characters go into the air, they can go into the air with certain attacks. Certain characters can go into the air with very specific attacks. This is not one of them, but for most of the time, if you get a character in the air, you basically want to do your weak attack 3 times and hit X to hit the ground to get the most bang for your buck out of your aerial attacks. And that's with almost every character. I say almost because as of right now, I don't know if this will pertain to every single character in the game. But, oh yes, I was talking about anybody who's never played a Dynasty Warriors style game before. So they are action RPGs in that you will level up your characters as you play, and leveling up your characters lets you do very specific tasks and get various tasks completed, and also get stronger as you go along. Now I'm gonna throw bombs in here, because almost like Breath of the Wild, you can just flat out destroy stuff, and that will get you these treasure chests. Now the treasure chests that I've been finding along the world, which I will make sure to point out the next one, we've actually already gotten 2 of them, or we actually gotten 1 of them? No, we've actually gotten 2 of the treasure chests in question. But, there's very specific treasure chests that I will point out that will be one-time only treasure chests. Hey, hold us. Anyway, get a little bit of a uprising going on here. And hey, you like bombs. Now, as we go throughout the game, certain enemies will need to will have you use bombs or other various skills in order to defeat. And they will show up different on every character, but I will also tell you some other properties of bombs here in that a lot of times if you use primarily the bomb Sheikah Slate ability, you'll get a moment of invulnerability. And with this moment of invulnerability, you can use that to your advantage to get, basically to dodge enemy attacks where you don't think you can dodge the side of enemy time. Anyway, that treasure chest we just picked up That treasure chest is a treasure chest that will not respawn. That is the third one we've collected so far in this mission. I'll be trying to make sure to make note of timestamp. I'll try to make sure to make timestamps of all of the treasure chests that are part of quote-unquote 100% completion. See, and I believe another one of our collectibles is going to be over here. Now, the game wants us to in order to progress forward, the game wants us to capture very specific outposts. If you're looking to just finish the game, you can just do what the game tells you, and you will go front to back, no problem. But in order to beat the game overall, I would recommend you do, in order to have an easier time beating the game, especially if you're going to try and play in higher difficulties, follow my footsteps a little bit and try and acquire all of the additional goodies hiding in the world. Boom. Now I will say for Sheikah Slate abilities, you don't want to be super dependent upon them and be ready to cast them aside should the need be required. Use your skill over technology, so to say. Because as you see, every time we use one of these Sheikah skills, it takes a little while after they're done being used. It takes a little while to recharge. Now let's see. I'm after a very specific area. My eyes are like darting between two different maps. I'm sorry. Right over here, there's another Korok Seed. And if we follow this road down, if we follow this road a little bit further south, we can actually get ourselves yet another Korok Seed. And keep on the road even further, and we'll get added another treasure chest. Now these are tougher enemies. Enemy colors do indicate how rough they're going to be to defeat and how much health they have generally. As a rule of thumb, as is with most, actually, which is just with most RPGs, or with most games in general, the higher difficulty you play on, the more health enemies will have, meaning they're harder to defeat, but also in this game, they will deal more damage. If I were to start playing this game, if I were to shift over to the aforementioned apocalyptic difficulty, if I were to shift my attention over to the apocalyptic difficulty, I will tell you right now that I can basically will be two-shot by any enemy, and it will take me a good 10 minutes to defeat anything that isn't a standard red bokoblin. Anyway. Now, I do mention that this is an RPG of sorts because every time I'm gonna see if I can't do this just to show it off. Because in the lower left corner, there's an experience gauge. And as you kill enemies, you will level up. And what does leveling up do? Well, in mid-mission, besides giving you obvious stat buffs, if you level up mid-mission, it will recover all of your health that you've lost and also refill your special gauge. What is the special gauge, you might ask? Well, you've actually been seeing it a little bit here and there. Hold on. Oh boy. Hey, we got the first instance of that. So if you do a perfect dodge, a la Breath of the Wild, primary example of this. If you happen to do a perfect dodge, you will get the chance to break an enemy's weak point gauge. Which is very important to make note of, because that's basically how you're going to be able to take out almost every enemy in this game, is by breaking their morale or breaking their weak point gauge. So if an enemy seems like it's taking forever, here's another treasure chest that won't respawn. It will have a very specific item in it. In order to do the best you can do overall in the game, you want to make sure you do take advantage of these weak points and break them constantly. Now, as I said, oh hey, Lizalfos. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to make sure to pay extra attention to Lizalfos if you're going for 100%, because upon defeating certain enemies, you get, defeating enemies gets you varying rewards, but defeating an enemy also will get you a trophy. Oh hey, we leveled up. Now, leveling up will become more apparent as time goes along, by the way. But if you didn't catch it, when we leveled up, we actually gained, got our full special meter back up for use. Anyway, let's use some Cryonis. And Cryonis. Cryonis in water is about the only offensive use that Cryonis has in the game. Though certain enemies will require you to... certain enemies will require this to counter some of their attacks, much like the bomb Sheikah Slate room we used earlier. Let me get behind. Let's see. Do we have an enemy to target? No, we do not. And now we'll be getting out of this whole. There we go. We'll get out of this whole tutorializing bit after this mission, but this is the first mission of the game. Oh. This is the first mission of the game, so we are going to be pretty much in heavy tutorial town for a little while. Anyway, captured that base, and I zoomed in on the map. Make sure I get all these Zalfos taken out. That's nice that the Fire Wizrobe is there, but I have something else more important to handle right now. Impa, thank you. We'll worry about changing to Impa in a little bit. And I'll talk with her about a little more, because I think there are... I'll worry about this Zalfos when the time comes. There are 3 more collectibles to get throughout the entirety of the stage. 2 of them being Korok Seeds, 1 of them being a treasure chest. So if we head over to here, down this path, there is another Korok Seed. And, well, let me get a couple more of the Zalfos kills just to try and pad my pockets with collectibles. Let's see. In the absolute middle of this field here, there is something that I'm gonna say only Link can hit. Is a balloon. Later on, all characters will be able to hit those balloons, but we will not be able to see who those characters are and what their abilities are to handle those balloons as time goes along. Anyway, the last thing we're after is a treasure chest, which is right around here somewhere. I'm not gonna lie, I actually wish I had like an additional 1 or 2 additional abilities which would help me snuff out treasure chests. Oh my gosh. Everything was going so swimmingly, and then all of a sudden my brain went, dear. Yeah, my brain does that a lot. Welcome to the club. Is it just chilling? Nope, that's a tree. Although, chopping down trees is a good way to get some wood, which you will need at some point. Also chopping the random bits of grass. Oh, I passed by it about 5 times. There it is. So that is the last of... That's actually the last of the collectibles. So if you're following along, it's not going to show it here, of course. If you're following along, you should have 7 Korok Seeds and have found 5 treasure chests. Now we can do the mission as the game wishes. And actually what we'll do here for a little bit is do something that was introduced with actually the first, I'm going to say the first Nintendo Dynasty Warriors style game, in that you can do tactics. So I'm going to take Link and have him go all the way over here to this base we should have captured a long time ago. And while Link takes care of that, we'll play as Impa for a little bit. Now Impa has unique properties, and I'm going to be trying to play as her in the way that I would recommend you playing, though you do not have to. What Impa excels at is hitting quickly and extremely quickly. Using her unique action to create clones of herself, she can perform what I will refer to constantly as death by 1,000 cuts. Because Impa can attack enemies so quickly and without relenting, she can build up her special gauge super fast. Using this to your advantage, you can make clones of Impa, build up your super gauge before the clones disappear, and before that timer runs out for your clones to be available to you, you will be able to use your special, which will not only be powered up because you have all of your clones, but will allow you to regenerate 1 stack of your clones, thus repeating the cycle. This is the way I will be playing as her a lot whenever I use her, so be prepared for this playstyle. But it will benefit you to play like this because Impa is a master of getting a special meter and really fast. Because basically if she absorbs symbols, she will get access to clones, which I will now use. All these clones will help her overall damage. She can still fight by herself, but her damage capabilities are triplicated. No, octuplicated when she has clones. She just shreds through enemies. You know, death by 1,000 cuts kind of idea. But with that, we actually get access to something new. Right? Yeah, we get access to something new. The Fire Rod. Like I said, there would be more things that would pop up here once we get them. The Fire Rod can be used to weaken certain enemies, and also enemies that are on terrains that can be melted, such as, well, I say melted loosely. Terrains that can be melted, such as grassy fields, ice, things of that sort. If an enemy is positioned on that, the enemy will actually take an extraordinarily large amount of damage. Now, for Impa's clones, they don't stay around forever, so you've got to use that time wisely. There we go, got one. I'm just trying to make sure I get all these. There we go, got them all. Keep in mind, with Impa, the more clones she has, the more damage she can do with her combo attacks. And I would like to let you folks know who are like, hey, wait, is this the same? Well, timeline-wise, if you guys don't know, the timeline-wise of this game is that this is happening when Calamity Ganon was prophesized to first come about. Basically, all the events that lead up to Breath of the Wild proper. So this is the same Impa, if you're thinking about it. But anyway, Impa has done her thing, so we can now use the D-pad to switch characters. But just to talk about her for a minute, the clones don't stay around forever. I'm going to say approximately 15 to 20 seconds after you have acquired your last clone that you're going to use. Having no clones and using her special will be a much less effective special, but still a special attack you can use. Anyway, now we're going to switch back to Link and see what kind of trouble he has gotten himself into. Now, I will say, a lot of people will play this game differently. What I do a lot of time when I play this game, when I play Dynasty Warriors styles games, is I will just mash light until I see the animation I want, and then I'll mash the strong attack. That's how I play these games. This is not a style of game I recommend everybody to follow, but it is a style of game that works. Oh, I haven't shown this off of Link. So, with stronger enemies, Link's arrows can actually be used a lot like he does in Breath of the Wild. Also, we're just going to dodge that so I can use this. You can actually expose an enemy's weak point gauge really early, or earlier than you normally should be able to, by shooting them in the head. Now, that has no significance right now, but as time goes along, you may want to use that to your advantage. Anyway, treasure chests here like this that spawn after you defeat a strong enemy. You can either open them yourself or just let the game do it for you. Now, something you guys probably won't appreciate is the fact that I will probably be using Link for like a large majority of this game. Like, yes, I realize playing as Link in a Legend of Zelda game is boring. But just know that, like, at least in my personal playthrough, Link became my strongest character, and for obvious reasons when we get to that point. But for right now, we're not going to worry about semantics. We're just going to play the game. Ow. Ah, there's something else we haven't seen yet. Oh, bombs? Okay, cool. So that's something else we haven't seen yet, is that if you hit an enemy in mid... If you get up in the air high enough, you can actually hit enemies in the head, which will take out their weak point gauge. Now, for anybody wondering, oh, it's an RPG and everybody seems to be leveling up at different times. That's going to be a problem if you don't focus on certain people, right? A little bit, but there are ways to counteract that. Anyway, perfect rush. Anyway, I'm going to use a special. And while the special... we can access through this. You can get characters. Or, yes, I realize that. I am now going to have Impa come over here and start attacking the moblin that's over here while I finish this special attack. Now, unless you are personally unless you are personally controlling a character, a lot of damage will not be done. Ah, dang it. Anyway, I'm going to use some of that fire ability because, hey, look, dry grass. So you want to use dry grass and things you have probably abused in Breath of the Wild to your advantage in order to knock down an enemy even faster. Just remember that this kind of stuff isn't going to be able to be used willy-nilly as you wish. Ow. Get a little healing. Actually, let's have Impa join in. Hey, Impa, would you like to help with this fight for a little bit? Anyway, let's do this. Anyway, let's go ahead and have Impa finish off this moblin. And like I said, Impa's playstyle, at least how I play it, is just death by 1,000 cuts. Now actually, for the most part, do not want to get perfect dodges with Impa because she'll actually do less damage to weak point gauges because her clones do not assist in weak point assaults. And that's it. That is the first mission of the game finished. Perhaps you should meet this young knight in person. Please meet in person. But anyway, when you finish a mission, it will give you the clear time of the mission and how many KOs you got. The faster you clear a mission will net you more rupees, and the more enemies you defeat will net you more rupees overall. Completing the stage has a static bonus no matter what you do in the mission otherwise. But also, when you finish a mission, all characters that you took into that battle will also level up. At the end of a mission, the game will catalog everything you have acquired, whether it's a reward for completing the mission, a reward for completing a specific goal within a mission, or any weapons you found in treasure chests or from enemy drops. Everything will be accounted here, so everything you got, you can take a catalog as you play the game. And this does count for both characters you acquire. Or characters as you acquire them, I should say. Now, items you'll get as rewards for quests will appear with the Hylian crest next to them. So, this Courser Bee Honey, these Sunset Fireflies, this Fortified Pumpkin, and these Swift Carrots were going to be given to us regardless of how well we did in the mission, or what we did in the mission. Everything else you see here were either from treasure chests or defeating enemies. Wow, I defeated a lot of bokoblins. But yeah, this does also account for Korok Seeds you found. So if at the end of the mission, if I cannot account for a Korok Seed that is in a mission, I will replay the mission, find the Korok Seeds I'm missing, and show them off at that point. Anyway, with all that rambling aside, let's mostly conclude this video with some cutscene.
An inexplicable guardian. And a mysterious tower. I hate to say it, but we have little hope of figuring this out on our own.
Hey, what are you? No, stop right there!
Each of you has served your kingdom admirably. Huh!
You made it! I'm glad you're safe, Impa.
Yes, Your Highness. And I've received the Sheikah slate from Pora. Oh!
What is that?
Your Highness.
The Sheikah slate conveyed the little guardian's purpose. This anomalous visitor had traveled from a future of ruin, a time in the midst of the Calamity, to save Princess Zelda. Impa proposed recruiting Pura and Robbie, renowned researchers of ancient technology, to study the Guardian and investigate the mysterious tower that had appeared on Hyrule Field. King Rome of Hyrule gave his assent.
And with that, in order for Link the Healing Knight, you must guard the mysterious tower that appeared. I am told it may be important. As for the time-hopping guardian, is it truly deserving of our trust? You must discern this beyond any doubt, with the aid of the researchers. May the goddess Hylia watch over you, always. So this tower that the little guardian... This tower that the little guardian spawned when we first met it is basically now our hub of operations, which will show us the world map every time we are done with a mission. And also, if we acquire any companions throughout our journeys that we can use as a playable character, their profile will show up here. And as we play the game, all of these little side quests will appear. I will definitely do so. Your save data for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was found in your system. You acquired a bonus weapon. I will tell you right now, I will use this training sword for a while until we acquire something much better for Link. Purchase. Yep, that's another thing. So we're going to be... This will also indicate that we're going to handle the DLC to boot. And you can play, unlike Breath of the Wild, where stuff like this does impact your stats. This does not impact your stats whatsoever. It's just cosmetic stuff to play around with. Because not everybody will have purchased the DLC, I will not be using this weapon. It is incredibly tempting because that's basically can kill anything we think about looking at funny at this point. It even has a ability on it that I really like, but we will not talk about abilities until it becomes more pertinent, probably next-ish episode. But at the end of an episode, if we can finish any side any non-battle side quests, I will handle those at that time. Now this is a longer episode because I got to talk about everything and whatnot. So it takes. I will say it does benefit you to read at least the brief synopsis of a lot of these non-combative side quests, even some of the side quests that you do combat in, because it will help you kind of ascertain what to do. For this, we want to go ahead and basically want to accept this cooking side quest and finish it, because we can get food that we can eat, which I will show how that works in the near future. And as we complete any side quests, whether they be non-combative or combative, this gauge will fill up. And this isn't limited to just Central Hyrule. This is all the various regions of Hyrule. This does basically give you a way to track your 100% progress in the game. Now, I will be attempting to complete as many of these as possible at the end of a video, and when I can't, that's probably when a video will end. But this actually gives me a minute to talk about how I plan to progress throughout the series and whatnot. As of right now, as it stands right now, okay, I can't do that. As it stands right now, we'll see what side quest markers look like, but basically if it's a main story quest, which looks like this, that will be its own self-contained video. If we have side quests, I'm going to revert back to my original format for videos of roughly 20 minutes per video. I may over or undershoot depending upon what happens within those side quests. Alright, let's make sure we can get all the upgrades possible at this time so we can make our characters as strong as possible. I didn't talk about it before, but basically the side quest we completed with Link's face on it is a boon specific to Link. In this case, Link got an extra light attack for his weapons. In completing this side quest, Impa now has an additional heart, which she actually has more health than Link at this point, I believe. But like I said, I will complete as many quests as I can until I can't. And I think at this point, you kind of have an idea of what the progression of what this game will be. So, now something... Actually, we can't do anything with that yet. That's something we'll get in the future. So for right now, all we have left we can do is another story mission. So, everyone, I want to thank you all so much for watching this episode of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I instinctively want to put Legend of Zelda in front of everything that the series evolves around. Forgive me. Come back next time when we will go to the road to the Ancient Lab. I'll see you folks then. Take care.